So you've got a goal, you're all fired up, and then wham, you hit a wall. That feeling, the one we all call laziness, just takes over and poof, consistency is gone. But what if that feeling isn't what you think it is? What if we've been fighting the wrong battle this whole time? Let's get into it.
It's a feeling we all know, right? You know exactly what you're supposed to be doing, but it feels like there's this invisible wall of resistance. The gym bag just sits there, that blank page is staring you down. It's so frustrating, and it's way too easy to just blame yourself.
But here's the thing, the one idea that could change your entire approach. That feeling you're wrestling with, it's not a character flaw. It's not some moral failing. The real enemy, the true obstacle, is something completely different. And this is the whole key. Our struggle doesn't come from being weak or unmotivated. It comes from a basic misunderstanding of what that lazy feeling actually is. Once we learn how to read the signal, a clear path to consistency just opens up. Okay, so here's the first big mindset shift. The way science looks at it now, laziness isn't the problem, it's a symptom. You gotta think of it like a notification from your body and your brain telling you that something deeper is going on. I mean, this is a huge change in thinking. For centuries, we treated laziness like it was a sin, but the new view treats it like a biological signal. It's basically the check engine light for your body. You don't get mad at the light, right? No. You look under the hood to figure out what's actually wrong. And when we do look under the hood, we find real, actual causes. Maybe you're just physically exhausted from bad sleep. Or maybe you're avoiding that project because you're terrified of failing. Or maybe, just maybe, the goal itself doesn't mean anything to you. Each one of these needs a totally different fix, and none of them is just try harder. And look, this isn't just some abstract idea. The data backs it up. We're talking nearly half of Gen Z and over a third of millennials saying they feel stressed and exhausted pretty much all the time. These are real physiological states, not choices. It proves that what we're calling laziness is often just plain old burnout. So, if laziness is just a signal, and we can't just grit our teeth and power through it with willpower, then what's the answer? Well, it's about building systems. Systems that make the things you want to do totally automatic, so you don't even have to think about willpower. This right here, this is the secret code behind every single habit you have, the good and the bad. It all starts with a cue, which triggers a craving. That craving motivates a response, which leads to a reward, and that reward locks the whole loop in place. The secret to consistency is just to design these loops on purpose for the habits you actually want. Now, to build these loops, you usually have to push through some initial resistance, and that brings us to willpower. For a long time, psychology ran on this idea called ego depletion, the theory that you have this limited tank of willpower that just runs out during the day. You know, it's why you can't resist that cookie after a super stressful day. But recent research has added a really fascinating twist. This is an absolute game changer. Seriously, researchers found that the people who believed their willpower was a limited resource, well, it was. They got tired. But the people who believed willpower was self-generating and unlimited, it didn't run out for them. Just your mindset, your belief, can literally change your capacity for self-control. Wild, right? And that leads us to what might be the most profound strategy in this entire explainer. The absolute best way to change what you do is to first change who you believe you are. This is all about the power of identity-based habits. The difference here seems small, but it is massive. An outcome goal is about a result. I want to run a marathon. An identity goal is about a persona. I am a runner. See the difference? Someone who identifies as a runner doesn't really debate if they should run when it's cold out. They just run. Why? Because that's who they are. And the best part? You don't need some huge, heroic effort to build this new identity. The math of the compound effect is just mind-blowing. If you get just 1% better each day, do one more push-up, read one more page, you will be 37 times better by the end of the year. These tiny actions are the proof you need to build your new identity. Think about it like this. Every single time you do that tiny thing, you put on your running shoes, you write one sentence, you are literally casting a vote for your new identity. Consistency isn't about one giant leap. It's about stacking up thousands of these tiny votes for the person you want to be. Okay, so we've totally reframed the problem, and we get the power of identity. Now, let's get super practical. Here's a simple toolkit with 3 things you can start using like today to build that consistency. First up is the 2-minute rule. The goal is not to run a marathon, it's just to put on your running shoes. The goal is not to write a book, it's just to open the document and write one sentence. This demolishes the hardest part of any task, just getting started. And once you start, momentum often takes care of the rest.
Next, live by the never miss twice rule. Look, perfection is a myth. Life is gonna happen, you'll have a bad day, you'll miss your habit. It's fine, that's not a disaster. The absolute key is to get right back on track the very next day. Missing once, that's just an accident. Missing twice, that's the start of a whole new negative habit.
And finally, maybe the most powerful tool in the whole box, design your environment. As James Clear says, trying to rely on self-control is just a temporary fix. Instead, you have to architect your world to make good habits the easy option and bad habits the hard one. Put the running shoes right by your bed. Leave your phone in another room when you work. Make the right choice the path of least resistance.
All right, let's land the plane with the final and honestly the most important part. We need to talk about the irony of what you're doing right this second. Watching content about how to be more productive. Yep, that's right. As you're listening to all these new ideas, your brain is getting little hits of dopamine. It feels good. It feels like you're making progress. But this feeling can be a really dangerous trap.
This is what we call the learning trap. It's when you mistake the pleasure of learning something new for the progress of actually doing it. You can watch 100 videos about how to get in shape, but you're not going to get any stronger until you actually go and lift the weight. The gap between where you are and where you want to be, it's only closed by action, not by more information.
So, I want to leave you with this question. Don't try to do everything we just talked about. That's a recipe for failure. Instead, just pick one thing. What is the one single, 2-minute, absurdly small action you can take today to cast a vote for the person you want to become? That's it. That's your starting point. Now go do it.